Hello, and welcome to GSMA's annual Mobile Money Leadership Forum. I'm Ashley Olson-Onyango, Head of Financial Inclusion and Agri-Tech at the GSMA. It's such a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and new ones here today in Kigali. I hope you've all enjoyed the keynote and opening ceremony this morning, and that you're ready for an afternoon where we dive into talking about one of the most transformative forces in digital finance, mobile money. In case you missed this morning's sessions, the key thing you need to know, in my humble opinion, is that each leader talked about mobile money and its importance, even President Kagame. Over the last decade, mobile money has redefined access to financial services for billions of people across low and middle income countries. And nowhere has this transformation been more powerful than here in Africa. At the GSMA, our mobile money program works hand in hand with industry partners, policymakers, and innovators to enable safe, affordable, and accessible financial services that empower individuals, strengthen economies, and advance financial inclusion globally. Through research, advocacy, and partnerships, we strive to ensure that mobile money continues to be a catalyst for inclusive growth, helping people not only transact, but thrive in a digital financial ecosystem. Today's Leadership Forum is a celebration of that collective effort and a look at what's next for the industry. We've curated 3 sessions that will take you from the numbers to the systems, to the human impact behind mobile money. First up, the State of the Industry Report 2025 goes beyond the stats to unpack what's really driving growth, from West Africa's surge in accounts to East Africa's thriving ecosystem. In our second session today, we'll launch a brand new study on interoperability, exploring what works, what doesn't, and how the right frameworks can truly expand financial inclusion. And finally, we will wrap up the day as we zoom in on digital financial services for impact, discussing privacy, security, and financial education, and how these shape trust, confidence, and resilience, especially for women and marginalized groups. Each session brings together leaders and innovators shaping the next phase of inclusive finance, and I promise you, you'll want to stay for all 3. So as we move through these sessions today, I invite each of you to think about the role we each play in building a more inclusive digital financial ecosystem, one which serves everyone, everywhere. So whether you're a policymaker, a mobile operator, a fintech innovator, or a development partner, your collaboration, leadership, and creativity are what turn digital potential into real-world impact. Together, we can ensure that mobile money continues to not be just a product, but a gateway to opportunity. And its continued success depends on our shared commitment to inclusion, integrity, and innovation. So let's make the most of today to listen, challenge, and collaborate toward a future where everyone can fully participate in the digital financial ecosystem. So with that, let's get started. It's my great pleasure to invite my colleague, Gianluca Storchi, to the stage to kick off our first session, SOTIR 2025, Insights Beyond the Numbers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ashley, for the wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Before I introduce my panelists over here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about today's session and what it's going to entail. So each year, the GSMA publishes the State of the Industry Report on Mobile Money, or as we like to call it, SOTIR. This year, the report highlighted some really important milestones that were crossed by the mobile money industry in 2024. There were over 2 billion registered mobile money accounts, and 500 million of them were active on a monthly basis. Now, every year, the GSMA also releases 2 additional reports that take the trends from SOTIR and look at them in more detail. These 2 reports are called the Global Deep Dive and the Regional Cuts. So the point of today's session is I will ask our panelists some questions based on some of the key findings from these 2 reports. But before we get into that, please allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists. So we have Solomon Mutsinzi in the middle here. He's the head of business analytics and reporting at Momo in Rwanda. He's a fintech strategist and analytics leader with over a decade of experience in driving business growth, customer value management, and pricing across the mobile money ecosystem. At Momo, Solomon leads data-driven strategies that continue to accelerate adoption and strengthen market leadership in Rwanda. We also have Elsa Muzzolini, who is the CEO of M-PESA in Ethiopia. She's a pioneer of telco-led mobile money with over 15 years of work experience in Africa with MTN, Orange, and now Safaricom. Today in M-PESA in Ethiopia, Elsa is driving an ambitious fintech strategy to cover a massive population of over 130 million people. And we also have Polycarp Ndekana, who is the head of products and partnerships at Airtel Money, Airtel Africa. He manages product and partnership initiatives covering credit, wealth management, savings, insurance, international money transfers, and payments. Polycarp has over a decade of mobile money expertise gained across several countries. So Solomon, Elsa, Polycarp, welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some appreciation to our panelists with a round of applause. Great. So I'm going to display some slides on the screen which are going to have some statistics and some charts which come from the Global Deep Dive and the Regional Cuts. And I'm going to ask our panelists some questions based on what you see on the screen. So, Sub-Saharan Africa remains the epicenter of mobile money globally, right? Within Sub-Saharan Africa, this growth is driven by East and West Africa. So in 2024, West Africa had around 485 million registered mobile money accounts, slightly more than East Africa's 456 million. Despite this, over half of Sub-Saharan Africa's monthly active users are in East Africa, while only 1/3 are in West Africa. What is driving more people to use mobile money more often in East Africa? Solomon?
Thank you. First of all, I'm glad to be here. I would say, as mobile money, it's a pleasure to be here, to be able to be part of this broader discussions on how to continue further the financial inclusion. So I would say for East Africa in particular, like Rwanda, I would say mobile money has gone beyond just a way of transacting. So the numbers that you're seeing, I would say they just speak to how Rwandans have managed to embed mobile money services into their day-to-day lives. So as part of our bold strategy has always been to ensure our services are more affordable and accessible, and of course to continue to grow our broader ecosystem. So I would say, giving an example in Rwanda, we've seen like tremendous growth when it comes to some simple services like P2P. Currently, an average Rwandan is making like 22 transactions a month. This is just like 5 transactions every week. So this basically was a result of our deliberate strategy as mobile money to ensure that this service is extremely affordable, because 70% of our transactions, they are charged just 2 cents. This is like 20 francs of Rwandan francs. So this has made the service extremely affordable, and people, when they are transacting, they don't think about the fee. So I'd say that is one of the game changers that we've had. But also, more importantly, when you look at our merchant base, we've been really very intentional about making sure mobile money is part and parcel of all the Rwandans, from when they go to their work, from when they go to their farms, to when they go to sleep. So currently, our base is the biggest in the market, in MTN market, and this has been a result as well of how we've made it very affordable and very easy to acquire people to self-onboard themselves. So I'd say, yes, in other markets we have the same setup, but in Rwanda and East Africa, mobile money has been really, we've been very intentional in terms of embedding it into the daily lives of Rwandans. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Solomon. Polycarp?
It's a good, and is mentioning. So I think why East Africa is more, you see more active wallets and more transactions. I think we have managed to build ecosystems around it. It's the maturity of the environment itself, East Africa, the ecosystems are built. We have built and embedded products on our day-to-day life. As I said, you enable it through the customer's transactions. We have seen this in Kenya, in Uganda, Tanzania, Namibia, Zambia, Malawi, where products and services are embedded into a customer's day-to-day. So either he's paying bills, he's paying school fees, he's buying soda from a corner store. Mobile money has become a day-to-day use case across. And we're seeing that continuous growth across in usage, and we keep deploying more of the different services and products across. Whereas in West Africa, where it's still more infrastructure-led, we're still building the infrastructure, it's still policies are being developed across. That's the bit. The policies are coming in, wallets are being created, but the use cases have not expanded as much. And that's what is really holding that activity rate that you're not seeing from the numbers you've displayed compared to what is in East Africa. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Polycarp. And Elsa?
So I think to add what has been said, we must consider that in East Africa, there is first the success story of Kenya and M-PESA in Kenya that has created a lot of emulation in the region. So we are now in a situation where most of the country, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, or Kenya are at scale in terms of mobile money, meaning that you have reached that volume that enables the product to be absolutely everywhere in the daily basis. So that regional emulation also creates a startup ecosystem that help mobile money to expand. So startup will open in Kenya, will also open in Rwanda, and similar service in Uganda because the regional network effect also exists. So I think combined with the favorable policies for cashless society and so on, I think the network effect in the region is really working for mobile money.
Excellent. So the recipe includes affordable products that are embedded, that are part of people's day-to-day lives, and regional network effects also play an important role. Excellent. Okay, so for my next question, over half of mobile money providers in sub-Saharan Africa who provide data to the GSMA say that interoperability regulations have become more enabling. Better interoperability has the potential to make instant payments more effective. How is interoperability impacting the growth of mobile money in your markets and regions? Elsa.
Yeah. So I think today, especially for young mobile money operation like in Ethiopia, interoperability is a key enabler. So I think 15 years ago, most telco would launch closed-loop ecosystem, only enabling the wallet sending to another wallet from same network. Today, launching in a closed loop is known to fail, and I think it's very important. The player who played interoperability the best are actually the one which I believe can get traction today. So interoperability not only on P2P, but from a broader acceptance, a real acceptance play open to make your merchant able to receive a payment from any solution without surtax and so on, is for us, example in Ethiopia, a key factor of growth and be able to compete in the local environment.
Okay, so interoperability has been an important supportive factor in Ethiopia for the growth of mobile money.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, Solomon?
I think to echo what she's saying, this service was launched in 2022 in Rwanda, and I mean, over just 3 years, it has grown over 10 times when you look at the number of people sending money to different networks. And I would say, indeed, it is enabling our ecosystem as well, because on a monthly basis, we are receiving more than 6 billion from banks and Airtel operators. So this, indeed, it is driving different services like payments and P2P across our ecosystem. So I really just want to echo what she's saying. It is indeed really driving it. And in Rwanda, there are also other use cases that are upcoming. We have like merchant and bill payment that are also in the pipeline. So we believe it's going to continue actually be like a bridge between different networks and continue enable financial inclusion. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Polycarp.
Yeah, I think interoperability it started as a regulatory milestone, but now it's a commercial growth, and you're listening to what I'm echoing from the colleagues it's there to enable now growth within our ecosystems. We have seen how impactful it can be as you enable the systems and open up the ecosystem. It's no longer closed loop, you're opening it up for better transactions. So customers, it will grow our business. Customers can pay to any merchant. We open a merchant repository. So it's beyond P2P. It started that way. It's moved on to merchants, to bill payment, cross-border transactions. We have seen regulators coming up with national switches, TIPS in Tanzania, NAD-switch, Malawi. And we're seeing how that enables now the movement of money, either between person to person, person to merchant, government payments, banks to wallets. That seamless flow now really brings the impact of what you're seeing across, where interoperability is now becoming an important factor to the telcos, to the ecosystem. So it's something that's connecting not just systems as before, but it's now enabling a full ecosystem to sustain itself in this digital era. Thank you.
Excellent. So it's from the data, if you look at the State of the Industry report, you will see that the data supports this narrative. One of the things that we track is how much money moves between mobile money wallets and banks. And we can see that movements from bank accounts to mobile money wallets are now really starting to sort of grow faster than, for instance, cash-ins at an agent. So we are really seeing, an integration between some of the more traditional financial service providers and mobile money providers these days. Excellent. Okay. So my third question is, so the slide on the screen tells us that in sub-Saharan Africa, mobile money provider revenues grew and their profitability improved in 2024. What can mobile money providers do to ensure that their businesses remain profitable and sustainable while continuing to offer value to users? Polycarp?
Yeah, I think profitability and sustainability has become something very key to our operations. I think over a period of time, our business have evolved from reliance to very few transaction types, cash out revenue, P2P revenue. But as we now start diversifying the products across, as you start offering credit solutions, savings, investments products, and merchant payments, we're now seeing that only bit that's helping drive this profitability across. As we retain customers by building more services, we diversify our revenue portfolios and just de-risk that whole ecosystem. And I think that's what's really helping us drive and retain this profitable growth.
Excellent. Elsa?
Me, I thought when I saw this data, I thought it was a bit counterintuitive. I would have said it would be probably the opposite trend. I think what we see overall is, yes, transaction fee are doomed to actually come to zero, like sending money to another person, especially on the same network. Now it's almost free P2P on most of the operator in most of the country. We are heading there. So I think as telco-led mobile money, there is more effort or actually going faster to move from transaction fees to balance sheet revenues, which in my opinion is not going as fast as the transaction fee is declining. So I think that's very key. So balance sheet revenue is loan, is insurtech, saving, investment product. I wish as an industry we would go faster than what is done today.
Yeah. Excellent. You mentioned credit, savings, and insurance, and this is one thing that we talk about in the State of the Industry report. We've seen a general trend of more mobile money providers offering these, what we tend to call adjacent services. They're becoming more core services now. And one of the things that we say is that it provides additional value to mobile money users, but at the same time, it's additional sources of revenue for mobile money providers, which of course is important because for the industry to remain, sustainable, it needs to be profitable, of course. Yeah. Excellent. So, my next question, there's no slide that accompanies it, but it is based on trends that we have seen in the industry. So, some mobile money providers are now looking beyond payments. Are we likely to see more mobile money providers transition to digital banks? Or are we still a long way away from that? And the first person is Solomon.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. But while that is something that we could explore strategically, we still believe there's still opportunity. When you look at the penetration, especially of our services, I'll give you an example. Just, I think, around 4 in 6 customers are using digital payments on mobile money. So that is a gap itself and an opportunity, of course. So we believe it is something that we could explore, but we still have something that are immediate and that will be more impactful. And that's why we believe through partnerships, through continuing growing our ecosystem, through partnering with different players from government to NGOs, humanitarian, we believe we can unlock the potential that is still there. But to transform directly into a full digital banking or getting that license, we believe it is something that we could explore, but we still have some gaps that we can close and really be able to fully digitize our lives. The lives of different Rwandans or our customers.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Solomon. Polycarp?
It's always a chicken and egg. I think for mobile money and for Airtel in particular, our role is just to look at bridging the gap. So let's provide the right experience and we bridge a gap between what banks can offer and how we can deliver it to the customer. So building the right experience to deliver banking services, banking experiences to our customers, rather than operating almost as a fully fledged bank, but offer the services. So we'll offer payments, we'll work with partnership with banks to offer credit, provide savings with better interest rates, and grew any of these financial services that we cannot really mediate transactions, but we can provide them through. So I think our vision isn't to transition to a bank, but offer a banking experience to our customers and the products that we can leverage from the partnerships with the banking ecosystem. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Polycarp. Elsa?
Okay. I think mobile money is already, in most of the country, already doing digital banking. From the point that you have an app, you give access to microloan, or user actually use your solution, don't have a bank account, but use your solution to access financial service. I believe we are more or less all in that trajectory in a more or less advanced way, but we're already all digital banks. No, I think what is at stake is maybe how far do we want to push the digital banking experience? Do we want to become digital bank actually, or do we want to provide a super app that offer all type of digital service inclusive of banking service? And shouldn't we actually try to define digital service that we offer as something different than what banks are already also offering with the app, to provide something that is differentiated, something that add more to the users, the same way that mobile money at its initial stage was bringing a gap. I think it's bringing that gap versus what the bank are doing in the digital space that we should keep doing, leveraging tech stack and new technologies.
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. Fantastic. So I think we actually have a bit of time for an additional question before we go to the audience. So the last question I'm going to ask you is, what innovations in mobile money are you looking forward to, and why? Elsa.
Oh, well, mainly there is two main things I think that are,
We have time,
happening
it's fine.
today. But well, I think overall, blockchain and its application into cryptocurrency, stablecoin, I don't think we are very far today, and that we are not yet getting the full potential of this technological evolution. So I think for remittance, or even other just as investment product, I think we need to work more with the regulator to actually be the one to give an easy, safe access to what stablecoin and cryptocurrency could provide for our user. I think the second aspect obviously is AI. Everyone talks about AI, but I think we can do much more than just, a chatbot to answer to customer requests or fraud prevention. I think unlocking use case via AI to keep increasing the customer experience, the way we interact with our app, the way we understand our client, power CVM using AI. I think this is just the beginning of this transformation that I guess that as an industry we need to accelerate and also partner in order that to make this a reality. If we don't evolve quickly as a mobile mini business, leveraging those technology exchange, I don't think that in 10 years we'll come back to Kigali and we'll still talk as mobile money as, or we'll talk about it, but about history. So I think this is key and this is now.
Excellent, that's a good answer. If I could just follow up with something. So you mentioned stable coins. For someone who's never heard of them before, how could stable coins benefit mobile money users at a high level?
Okay. At a high level, stablecoin can become an investment product so that you can actually buy stablecoins that also give you access to crypto, more speculative product, but at minimum first as an investment product, and also an easier, faster way to receive remittance than what we have built today without the use of crypto. So I think that, for me, those are the two ways that we could start with as mobile money.
Excellent, excellent. No, that's interesting to hear you say, because we do a bit of research on remittances and what they cost, and we do know that mobile money is one of the the most affordable way to send money. So from what you're saying, it sounds like stablecoin could potentially make that even more affordable for people and provide them even additional value.
And maybe if I can add on this one, what we see in Ethiopia today is there is a massive use of crypto, not stablecoin, because not yet regulated in a way that it's offered by Ethiopian Central Bank or any player, but we see huge usage of crypto for e-commerce as well. So people go online, buy crypto, to then buy dollar, and then go on Alibaba, which was an unexpected direct use case. There is not investment, there is not investment, but it's international payment that is not easy to achieve otherwise.
Yeah. Very interesting. Thank you, Elsa. And Solomon?
I think she pretty much mentioned some, but just to add on AI, I think AI is really something that is, I think, the next big thing for fintech. So when you look at mobile monies, I mean, we are sitting on really huge amounts of data, huge in terms of velocity and all that. So I believe mobile money would be actually the best, beneficiary of this AI transformation, particularly in terms of, optimizing performance, stuff like mitigating fraud that is somehow, also on the rise when it comes to mobile money. So I believe AI, but also when you look at some spaces like e-commerce, I believe those are spaces where mobile money can really also, contribute. But to me, I think, like there are many areas, but I think also, we need to really close the gap as soon as possible when it comes to, adoption, because it's still there. Yeah, but yeah, like to your point, AI, cross-border payments are, in the morning, Group CEO mentioned it. Cross-border payment, I think it is also something, as we continue to unlock transport between African countries, I believe this is also something that we can also contribute as mobile money. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah, cross-border payments are important. We've seen, in the data, we've seen a lot of growth in international remittances. It's one of the use cases that's really growing. It's often growing faster than the other ones. I don't know if that was true this year, but it certainly has been in the recent past.
Absolutely.
Polycarp.
I think we have mentioned the exciting part of where the mobile money industry is going is towards the future of this technology. We speak of stablecoins. E-money issuance is just another stablecoin. It's just that it's local. So where do we grow? So we see the potential and the future in terms of the remittances. You mentioned cross-border payments. We need to work around that technology across and say, how do we simplify settlements today? Moving money in Africa is the hardest thing because we tend to settle using USD, for example. But I'm moving money between Tanzania and Rwanda, Uganda and Rwanda. So what are the easier methods to use? Stablecoin now comes in as a good play to support us on settlements. What do our customers need? What does the industry, as it is evolving, cross-border moves from beyond just remittance sending. It's now coming to payments. How do I pay for goods in Ethiopia easy and settle the merchant at real time because that's what they need, but I'm sitting in Rwanda. How do you move that funds across? So the technology across and the use of things like stablecoin becomes very key to us now to start exploring, to start working with regulators to say how do we combine the two? How do the two different regional blocks, how do the regulators allow us and change the settlement processes that are within the borders across Africa? So I think the vision and the future that's exciting is how does technology come to play? Stablecoins to do it, but and aligning it with regulations so that we're moving forward correctly. So to me, cross-border business, I'll call it business because it's beyond B2B, it's now merchant payments, it could be bill payments, it could be a number of different services that we're doing. It could be investments. I could sit in Tanzania, invest in a stock exchange in Kenya, and it allows us to grow those ecosystems across. So that's what's exciting is how do we liberalize now the transactions across? Yeah.
Very, very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to see, how the space, how the ecosystem evolves in the next few years. I think we can expect to see a lot of the influence of AI now actually reach the mobile money industry. So it's an exciting space to be in. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have managed to answer all my questions very effectively and very quickly, which means now it's the audience's turn to ask you a few things. But thank you for your extremely insightful answers. So now, if anyone has a question in the audience, gentlemen over here. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Ricardo. I represent a mobile money operator from Angola. And in Angola, mobile money is a very new concept. So we often look at more mature and consolidated markets in Africa to see the challenges that you faced, how you overcame it. And I wanted to ask you, how do you look at the opportunity of partnerships with emerging mobile money in Africa mobile money markets in Africa in a perspective of growth and even innovation, because even though we're all Africans, we face different issues, different necessities in different markets. So I wanted to understand a little bit from the three of you, if possible, how do you look at that with regards to growing, with regards to bringing innovation to other markets and better consolidating mobile money in Africa as a whole? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Anyone like to go first?
Yeah, I can take that. I think the opportunity is a mess. As you're saying, Angola is still, it's growing. So innovating around your space and you have nothing to change. It's something new you're developing and bringing to the ecosystem easily. So when you look at your environment itself and say, where do you digitize? How do you partner with who are the industry players, the fintechs around? So it's no longer about a closed system. So how do you open your mobile money business into an open loop? You work with banks to ensure there's enough liquidity. You build a robust agent network so that cash can be converted to e-value easily across. And then you build up an ecosystem of merchants, of different other financial inclusion services. So that then enables you to see that growth. From the cross-border aspect, it's a matter of regulations. How do we then, the mature markets in East Africa and West Africa, how do they work with the southern part of Africa in terms of regulations to enable easy flow of funds across? As the world is, as Africa is now becoming one village, lack of a better word to say, it's becoming one unit. How do we now do that cross-border integration across? So that's where the opportunity lies on an open loop ecosystem. Yep.
Thank you for that, Polycarp. Elsa, would you like to add something?
Yes, well, obviously an event like today is an opportunity to connect and exchange a certain number of possible partnership. I think that's obvious, but maybe we can always do more and share more during those forums outside of what you organize and do. I think unfortunately, because sometimes there is competitive market and competitive consideration, is not the partnership between the mobile money operator has not so far, I think, being that easy outside of formal forum of exchange. When you look at it, I think there was a lot of projects of trying to put together remittance. I think Orange and MTN tried to do it together, a remittance switch for the continent and so on, and there is no project of that type that have been successful so far. So I think much more is still to be done in terms of building common infrastructure. So we think about what we're talking, stablecoin and so on. There's a lot of, even AI, there's a lot of very costly infrastructure in terms of GPU and what are all pay in dollars that could also potentially be built together if there is willingness to share a certain number of infrastructure.
Thank you for that, Elsa. Solomon, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think my colleagues really mentioned it. Like the partnership across, the continent, I think it is something that is complex. Yes, it's a good thing, but of course, because mobile money doesn't work, I think, in isolation, because like we mentioned, we are partnered with a lot of people, and expanding to other markets, it is not all the time like easy. So, but what we need to do maybe is to rethink how, as Africa, even like the different service providers that we are connected to, how we can think in a way of not just mobile money, but also as an ecosystem, like to bring that integration, to bring, to start having such discussions of how do we collaborate as a continent, bigger basically than just one market, and to make sure mobile money, we don't move as mobile money operators, but we also find frameworks to work with also our partners, so that, if I'm partnered with a certain bank, and for example, it's a local bank in Rwanda, how do we make sure they're also part of these discussions? Like, how do we expand? And so to me, I think it's a complex thing, but it's something that is doable as long as mobile money doesn't move as just a player, as we move as an industry on the continent.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think you will find that you were given some excellent advice by the panelists here for free as well, which is always good. Next person, I see a few hands over here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is John. I work with Geopol. I'm in the market research space. I had a question for Elsa. Given the unique opportunity that M-PESA has had to go into a new market and a unique market as well as that is Ethiopia, what are some of the sort of like success lessons that we can pick from there that Central and Southern Africa that have a very low share of mobile money can use to sort of like just make mobile money more usable in those environments, given the unique opportunity that you've had in Ethiopia?
Elsa?
Okay, just to make sure I understand the question. The question is, what do we leverage in Ethiopia as part of the East African story? If you can...
The question is, given the uniqueness of Ethiopia as a market and the fact that you are going in and bring in a new solution in mobile money that is M-PESA that has been a success in Kenya, what sort of success initiatives can Southern and Central Africa that have very low share of mobile money usage learn from your success so far in Ethiopia that can be applicable to these other countries?
Okay. So yes, as you rightly say, Ethiopia is a very unique market by so many ways and so many also macroeconomic, but also consumer pattern, consumer culture overall. I think one of the key learning is there is nothing such as a strategy that you can just copy-paste and apply to complex market like that. I think the customization of the go-to-market of the product should not be dismissed and should be taken with attention. There is no greenfield today, such as like rolling out cash in, P2P cash out will work in an easy way 15 years after the launch of M-PESA in Kenya. So I think that would be the learning number one. Learning number two is there is probably a lot of local usage, relationship to money and so on that suggests how we should talk about mobile money, how we should explain how it works. I think one of the things that probably in Ethiopia we doubled on is actually the financial education, explaining the product in a simple way is something that I think we have seen ourselves investing more and more in the last few months to help the product to be successful. And I think lastly is really the segmentation and understanding where we are solving a problem for the user is relatively key. I think what we have done in last year is, okay, those are the three main segments. This segment has that type of problem, this is what we do. This second segment will be really segmented and focused on the problem that we are trying to solve versus a typical telco approach that would be, okay, they just throw SIM card everywhere and the people will use our product. For mobile money, very, very tricky. In complex country like Ethiopia, I think it takes actually a lot of marketing effort.
That's interesting. Thank you for that, Elsa. We usually collect some demand-side data using what consumer survey, and the findings go into the State of Industry report. If I'm correct, I believe that in Ethiopia last year we found that around 2/3 of men and women actually had difficulty, using mobile money. Like they lacked the actual skill set and the knowledge when it comes to actually using the service. And maybe if I could ask them, is it safe to assume that USSD is being used more than, for instance, like a mobile money app in the country?
Okay, that's interesting, and I think we can see that statement that USSD is the key asset that helped the telco to push mobile money, I think is less and less true. I think in countries like Nigeria or Ethiopia, actually they're not so keen in using USSD, right? It's when you have an app that you're a serious player. And I think I found that a bit in Ethiopia, like USSD, you know, even it's difficult to operate, I don't visualize that what is happening there that easily, maybe for literacy issue and so on. So USSD is not the solution to customer education. I think in more and more market on the continent today.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that. Another question, gentleman over there.
My name is Sal. I'm from Abacus. Given that the success story with mobile money is gauged very, very heavily on Safaricom in Kenya, and Safaricom in Kenya has a very powerful super app that runs or is run heavily on an API management tool. How important would you say is an API management platform such as Apigee in taking the platform for mobile money forward for the next few years?
Okay.
Solomon, you want to?
I didn't pick the question. Like, it's for Safaricom.
I think it was a general question on mobile money APIs and how important they are.
APIs.
Yeah.
I mean, the story of APIs in Rwanda, like, for example, in Rwanda, use case of Rwanda, it used to have a lot of problems around onboarding new service providers. But, you know, when we introduced a new API solution, which is now actually, you know, it is taking like to connect to mobile money or to integrate, it takes really less time than before. That's actually what really helped us in terms of, not only, yes, you can have a lot of partners, but integrated, the speed to integrate with them also really matters a lot. So that solution that came in Rwanda, I think, was really a game changer on our side, and it enabled us actually to start having a lot of service providers on board, because now we have like more than 400. And for a market like Rwanda, that is a lot. And before, it used to take us like 3 or even 2 months to integrate with just one partner. But currently, it is very fast, and actually, it helps us in terms of partnership. So to your point, I think APIs are, I would say, very critical when it comes to fostering or ensuring that the partnership, cornerstone that you're talking about is really live and continue to serve mobile money and to continue to, enrich our product portfolio. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Polycarp, would you like to add something here?
Yeah, I think he's correct. I think open APIs are now becoming a critical factor to enable growth across the industry, across the ecosystem. Mobile money platforms evolve, grow, and the partners, the fintechs around, the developers around our ecosystem help us now to grow and sustain this. So open API platforms are really key now to support the growth of the industry in general. And you see that growth. You've mentioned M-PESA. Yes, they've layered it in on their open API. Airtel Money is doing the same. MTN is doing the same. So that integration layer, we are becoming the platform and the rails to support the growth of the industry. I think that's the key part of it. And they are critical, and you'll see them growing and more use cases and more APIs being added into these platforms to support the growth and the development and the dev community that is building around mobile money.
Excellent. Front row.
Hello. Hello. Hi, my name is Megesho. I represent FEDA in DRC. I wanted to know how you educate and support users in remote or financially excluded area, for example, in the DRC, especially given how fragmented the mobile money ecosystem is and how many people have little or no understanding of how it works.
Sorry, did you hear that? Could you kindly repeat it a little bit louder?
Basically, I want to know how you're handling education and supporting people in the regulated area, especially in DRC where there is mobile money ecosystem is completely fragmented, and a lot of people do not know anything how it works or what it is.
So, is the question about, did you say education?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Elsa, would you like to take this?
Okay, so I think that was one of the points to the question, one of the answer also to Jonathan there. I think the financial education is a critical enabler that have to really be customized to every market, right? Is it something that you do very BTL with community leader and that actually can explain in a very granular level? Do you want to couple it if you do ATL, traditional media, what really works and where in the country? I think there's no perfect answer, and I think all as mobile money player, we all try different tricks depending on which market to actually make it easy. But it's something that is still needed, even in 2025, to assume that your customer understand that what you're trying to do, what is P2P, how does actually the money exist on the phone, and what is not to be taken for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. Solomon, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I think also on top of what she said, of course, education, I think, is very critical when it comes to mobile money. And what, I mean, as our experience in Rwanda, what I've also supported us is our partnership with the government, where we've been also leveraging on different programs to also pass our basically messages and around financial education. So I believe maybe in DRC, that is also an option that could be, that I think can be considered, partnering with different players, NGOs, government and all that. It also, not only in terms of delivering the products, but also in terms of education. I think it's really a key enabler, and it's something that would really be a game changer also for some markets like DRC.
Excellent, thank you for that. Solomon, Polycarp, do you want to add anything?
I think it varies and it's segmented across the country. So a diverse country like DRC, working with communities is the best way to now send that education across. We will deploy the networks, we'll put up the products, but looking at how, for example, a setup of DRC and how the communities operate. So working with community leaders, with influencers within those communities to help us now disseminate what our products are for, what are we doing, what's these financial services we're bringing to them. So how does an agent operate, how does P2P work, where do they cash in? So we work around a lot through community leaders, through influencers, and you start training one and they train others. And because of the nature of communities and how they operate, so you work with groups, either women groups or the village groups that are across, and you disseminate the knowledge through them. That's what really is helping us, share the knowledge across.
Thank you for that. It's education is important. It's really important when it comes to addressing like the biggest barriers to mobile money adoption. In the State of the Industry report, we look at how many mobile money providers globally offer like digital financial literacy initiatives. We know that in, I think, the Asia Pacific, around 3/4 of mobile money providers have, as of last year, were offering some sort of digital financial literacy initiative. It's a little bit lower in sub-Saharan Africa. I think it's around 60% of mobile money providers, but it's a trend that it seems to be going up. People realize that something like digital financial literacy is important for people, and we hope to see this continue growing in the future. Any other questions? Oh, someone at the back. Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Renaud from Digital Virgo, a content and service provider for telcos. We right now use mobile money to monetize, our content and services. The problem that we currently are facing is that we are having user journey using USSD and not digital, not being full digital. And we would expect from the mobile money, to have, the full digital flow, and also to provide not only one-off purchase, but also recurring billing. Is it something that you are planning to provide?
Polycarp?
Yeah, I think as we're seeing, and I think it was also said earlier today in the morning in the opening speeches, the penetration of smartphone in our ecosystem is now growing. And we are going and digitizing these services. We are enabling APIs for easy integration, and then we're enabling now our mobile apps across. And it's a vision we're having to now digitize and simplify that journey. So as smartphone penetration is growing, then we're starting to drive usage and enabling such services. So as you pushing in digital content, we are coming in as that payment provider, and we will definitely have it on an app to simplify the journey. I think USSD is becoming longer and clunky over time, but as your users are also evolving, our smartphone apps are becoming really key now. So it's a journey of what we're building, and we're enabling it across. Yeah.
Excellent. Elsa, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think all mobile money players are trying to improve the digital first approach versus first thinking USSD and then app. I think it's really a mindset shift that I think everyone is going through. We still see here and there apps that work like USSD. One screen, I input, second screen, third screen. Even the app was thought as USSD. So I would say that's a transition that is ongoing at different levels across the country. But yes, that was something to achieve for the future of the industry.
Thank you, Elsa. Solomon?
Amen. I think I'm fully really aligned. The USSD era, I would say, it is of course still powerful. It is a very powerful enabler, but I think for the future, it is high time we start thinking the app, start having very good apps or super apps just to ensure, the user experience is really improved. Because to be honest, I mean, the experience in the USSD is really not very good. And for our customers, I believe they really deserve more. But I think, of course, it's a journey, and it is also has to go hand in hand with various initiatives to increase the penetration of smartphone, across the different markets. So for me, yeah, I mean, I believe, yeah, app it's for the future, and it's good to have it. But we just need to support basically that transition of, first of all, lay out the infrastructure that is needed. That means, how do we make sure all the people across the globe, across the continent, have access to smartphones? Yeah, but otherwise, USSD, I mean, it's a matter of time, and it's going to be outdated.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how long it takes to for us to get there. Sir, I think you had a question. Or?
I'm Julius Mutemi from the EAC Secretariat. I work with the East African Digital Regional Integration Project, which is a World Bank funded project. My question is on the frauds, and more particularly the social engineering frauds. I think as a market in East Africa, we have done quite a lot in terms of giving services to the customers in the right way. But there is this one simple question I've been asking myself over and over and over again, and this revolves around the way we know the SIM card is basically not a payment instrument. However, the SIM card is being used to facilitate some of these services in one way or the other. But then you find that in markets where the mobile money is quite extensive, the way these SIM cards are being issued is not foolproof. Fraudsters are always ahead in getting several SIM cards, which they use daily to perpetuate frauds. How do they do it? They can either use the USSD mode, or they can use it via WhatsApp, where they come and perhaps register that number in a WhatsApp, in WhatsApp, and then once they get access to my friends, they start now sending messages soliciting funds from various people or telling lies about maybe someone says that I've been hijacked, I need money to get out of where I am. And at the end of the day, you find that some people end up being conned. So my issue is, how can we, through policy, try to have a discussion between the regulators and those who are in business rolling out these services, so that we make sure that whoever is getting the SIM card is authentic, so that we don't have as many SIM cards out here, which we cannot really say that card belongs to Julius or belongs to Jane or belongs to so and so, because it is something of concern. So I would like to hear from you people what you think we can do to go around that challenge, because many people are being defrauded through those schemes, and it is something, in my view, if we sit on the table, we can find a way of minimizing it, even if not capping it.
Thank you for the question. I think we have time for one of you to answer. Who would like to take this?
Okay, so first, one fact, fraud is existing in financial industry. Would be for the bank, would be for mobile money, would it be for fintech? Because it's money matters, there is fraud attempts, there will be new type of fraud, it will always be there. But if you look at the last 5 to 10 years, things are drastically changed. Today, it's very rare that in a GSM regulation in a country, you don't have to use national identity number, national identity card. In most of the country, it has been enforced that to get a SIM card, you need to link it with a valid ID. So there's different application and complexity in the setup that is put for selling SIM card, but it goes for even biometric recognition in some country. In Ethiopia, we do facial recognition from the picture we take of you and what you submit at KYC. So I think things are drastically improved versus the situation that we see in the way that the SIM card was sold by the telco 10 years ago. So I think on the other side is a fantastic AI application use case. So in Ethiopia with M-PESA, we do AI model to see, to detect when we see a suspicious bank to wallet. Somebody was never received a single bank to wallet, suddenly received 50K. This is flagged, and we also use networking effect via AI to see suspicious connection of a SIM card that suddenly is calling 10 times 10 different number, is probably aux call. So I think, and that's things that we can share as industry, is how we can positively apply AI model to detect those suspect behavior, would it be in terms of call or transactions.
Thank you very much. I think that's it for today. I'd like to thank the audience for all the very interesting questions that you asked, and of course, Elsa, Solomon, Polycarp, thank you so much for taking the time to share your thoughts and experiences with us. If anyone is interested in the regional cuts and global deep dives, which today's session was based on, you can find them on our website. Yes, Joyce, thank you. Fantastic. All right, let's give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you. Ashley, over to you.
Thank you, Polycarp, Solomon, Elsa, and thank you, audience. Those questions were really insightful. It's always really fun to hear the things that you're interested in, as well as what we curate by ourselves. And you actually did an excellent job teeing up the sessions that we have coming later today, talking about cross-border payments, talking about financial education, and even trust, thinking about privacy, security, and that element of trust in the system. So if you're interested in those things, I expect to see you back here. And what I want to encourage you all is just don't stop here. Keep the conversations going. We've got refreshments in the back, so feel free to grab a coffee, a tea, and keep talking about what you heard, what you didn't hear, what you'd like to hear more about with our panelists and other folks in the room. And we are going to set up for our next session starting here at 3:15. So I will be here, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much.